crazy. That ain't real. That's dumb. That's straight dumb. You're dumb. You're nice. You excited for the holidays? I am.
Hey! We're recording the podcast! Shut up!
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is morning somewhere for November 6, 2024. My name is Burnie Burns, sitting right over there. She is excited for the holidays. It's Ashley Burns, everybody. We talk about the holidays all
It's true.
fucking day today.
Well, look, I mean, there's a lot of things to talk about. So
get on here and fucking go ahead.
Assume that that like us, a lot of our listeners are suffering from election day hangover. It's a very busy, stressful day. There's a lot of information coming. There's a lot of like anticipation and stress and worry. And so I'm going to practice what I like to call post-election escapism today, where I'm going to talk about all kinds of other stuff. For example, Burnie, I would like to wish...
Ashley's in escapism mode. I'm in point fingers and blame.
He's just going...
Two classic personalities clashing here.
All day long.
We waited until we were recording this podcast a little bit later, so if it comes out a few minutes late, we apologize. It might not. But we wanted to wait until somebody called in case anyone's not aware, there was a U.S. presidential election last night.
You may have heard of it.
They just called it while we're recording this. It's 277 votes for Donald Trump, your president-elect.
And that's coming from AP News.
And the weird thing is Washington Post has him at 276. So it's either there's two states must be different for those two things. But AP News is the one we're using.
Who's the guy with the math?
What's that?
Who's the guy with his own math?
Teriology?
So one of the two is practicing teriology.
Yeah, it's not real.
So Washington Post has got a new editor-in-chief.
Right, maybe Washington Post isn't the best one to use in this one. Who knows what we're getting? The missing vote is Jeff Bezos himself. And then this one shows Kamala at 224, Miss Harris at 224.
So I would like to wish a very happy birthday to a new hippo. We're talking escapism here.
Yeah, go ahead.
New hippo. The Edinburgh Zoo has a new pygmy hippo. So there's been a viral pygmy hippo baby, that's Mudang, that's been going around. Everyone's been in love with Mudang. Guess what? Mudang is over, practically an adolescent. Not cute anymore.
I love
Fuck off.
Bo and Yang is like one of the best additions to Saturday Night Live.
That it's true. There was he did a bit on Saturday Night Live. It was Weekend Update, right? As Mudang. But now we've got a whole rash of new material coming because I would like to introduce you to Haggis.
I can't help but think
the new baby pygmy hippo in Edinburgh.
Go ahead.
What?
No, go ahead. Haggis. I'm excited about the hippo.
Like it's something to like be excited about and just focus on. And the little pygmy hippo was born the 30th of October, so almost a Halloween hippo. And here's what I love about this. Hippos,
I just want to know, did they vote? That's all I want to know.
Hippos are like the meanest, most like territorial, aggressive, like terrible animals, right? Terrible animals. But we see these like baby pygmy hippos and we're like, oh, so cute. What is it about us thinking like baby killer animals are adorable? We do that with tigers, and lions. We do all the baby big cats, really. But basically anything that's big, that's born little and fuzzy or like little and wrinkly, we're like, oh, it's the best thing ever. Oh my God.
I think on an evolutionary basis, they want us to think little things are cute. You know what I mean? Like there's an evolutionary advantage to thinking things are cute, and I must have bled over into like your babies are cute, so you treat them well and you like them, and then other animals who had similarly cute babies, I don't know, maybe didn't kill. I don't know, but
they also
did that ever happen in nature? Like where
I don't know.
You see like the cute thing of like looks like a cheetah is gonna raise a gazelle in the wild. And then
you just know that it's waiting until it gets a little bit peckish.
Yeah, don't wait for the post-credit scene in that one, folks.
It's just mammals, though. Like I don't look at baby birds and go, "Oh."
That is true. Those things look horrifying. They look horrifying. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but something about these little baby mammals is adorable, even though they would love to grow up and kill us if they can.
I do wonder what that is. Like, what's with the youthful features of all babies like that? Is it because the eyes have to be a certain size when they're born, so they have these oversized eyes and things like that?
Maybe. And also there's just something too when things are like little and wobbly and kind of helpless. You're right. It's got to be evolutionary that we're built to like want to take care of babies, and just like evolution didn't stop at like the human designation. So we just see little wobbly babies and we want to care for them.
How did less people vote in 2024? How did less people vote
Than during the
Ashley?
pandemic?
So Trump's going to win the popular vote in this thing. And he's
Yes.
going to win with less votes than he got in 2020. It was harder to vote in 2020. It was.
Right, because that was pandemic. That was like lockdowns and outdoors and social distancing.
And there wasn't like the
And
promise
masks.
of baby hippos to keep you going at that point in time. There were no baby hippos.
No, but what there was is the same promise that we have every November, Bernie, which is that Halloween has passed, and that means it's basically Christmas, which means that everyone is getting ready to put out all of their Christmas movies. Like Bernie, we don't have Hallmark Channel. I'm not super familiar with Hallmark Channel, but I do know that they spend basically from January 1st to November 1st getting ready for the 2 months of November, December, so they can put out 100 Christmas movies every single year. I saw an article on Marie Claire that has Netflix doing 12 different Christmas themed things. Like they've got like British Bake Off, the Christmas series and everything. But they've also got like, what if Magic Mike was Christmas themed male strippers instead?
I support Santa Claus. I'm just going to sleep in on Christmas Day. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to participate.
Nope, you absolutely not. You got kids. You got no choice.
They'll be fine, apparently. they'll be fine. We can just, they can just do their thing. They'll figure it out. No big deal.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine, right? It'll be fine. But no, I am excited about some of these stupid Christmas movies. Super excited.
Actually, I admire your determination.
I'm working very hard over here.
I so greatly admire your determination to give us all some escapism.
Working very hard. So one of my favorite Christmas series is on Netflix. It's this ridiculous series. It's starring Vanessa Hudgens. And it's got its own like cinematic universe now. There have been so many sequels. The original one, I think, was called Princess Switch, where like, I'm going to...
What are we talking?
Oh, yeah. We're talking about princesses.
Princess Switch.
Princesses and bakers. So there's this baker, and I want to say it's New York. Doesn't matter. It's some city in the U.S. And she applies for this baking competition in the fake cinematic kingdom where there's always like a prince and a princess, whatever. And we're going to call it Moldovia because they're always Moldovia or something like that, right?
Don't bring up Moldovia today, buddy.
Yeah. and then it turns out she looks exactly like the princess there. And they switch places, and it turns out they're able to find love. And then there's the sequel where another one turns up. And then there's this entire extended family of Vanessa Hudgens playing all these different people. And the shenanigans get layered, Bernie. Layered. But I think this year, my pick for Christmas movie is going to be Magic Mike. Christmas Magic Mike. So male strippers, but make it Christmas. What's not to love?
What's not to love, Ashley? What is not to love?
Focus up over here.
Can I think of
We're
anything
recording
that's
a
not to
podcast.
love? Here's my thing. I'm a big believer in balance. I like balance. And I feel like we're out of balance at this point in time.
Why are we out of balance, Bernie?
Well, because we have the president, arguably the Supreme Court, very arguably, and what looks like going to be both the House and Senate are going to be all aligned in the same direction.
That's
not balance.
Is that a lack of balance, or is that a mandate?
But a mandate's a lack of balance.
It seems like a scathing indictment of right now America's opinion on where the parties are at.
Yeah.
And you can argue that it's unbalanced, but this is what America votes for.
Or people are just,
America voted, and this is what they said.
I mean, the results are still coming in, but it's like just people aren't voting. We were talking about this earlier this week. We talked about it yesterday. People just like less people voted. I mean, it was in 2020 for Biden. Biden got over 80 million votes. Biden won 51.3% of the popular vote. Joe Biden. Getting 81.2 million total votes. And so far, it looks like Kamala Harris has about 66 million. That's a huge swing of just people just not coming to vote. And they didn't go turn to vote for Trump. he's gonna get the popular vote with less votes than he got in 2020.
So there are just a lot of voters who stayed home in 2024.
That's going to be
They
looks
just
like the
completely
story
stayed
so
home.
far. Looks like the story. They just didn't show up. Which is a frustrating thing. You
You
know,
know, and well, that's something that's also not entirely new to American politics. You may have heard of a politician, named Bernie Sanders.
I have heard of him. Every now and then I get mistaken for him on X.
And you get a rash of people contacting you with their outrage.
I
Yes.
know, right? I know.
But there's, he's always been very, very popular, but had very successful, very highly attended rallies and things like that. But then people didn't turn up to vote. They didn't turn up when it finally came time to do the thing that mattered.
Yeah.
And so there's only so much you can do when people simply don't turn up.
This is democracy. You get what you vote for, and in some cases, you get what you don't vote for. You know what I mean? You like if you don't vote, you get exactly what you get. You know?
Yes.
But this is clearly, very clearly a mandate, and I don't think I'm in the camp of a lot of people where a lot of people are very scared. I'm in a position where a lot of the things that people are scared about probably won't affect me anyway. I mean, we don't even live in the country, for God's sake. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, it's just interesting to see when there's a big swing. And this like we said, a landslide would be one of the things of it would be better than just weeks of drawing it out. And this is it. We got it. We know. I'd rather be in this position, honestly, than be in the thing of just dragging it out for months and months at a time.
Right, where you don't even have the answer till mid-December.
Like, this is it. This is the country. This is it, for better or for worse. And I'm not gonna be like a lot of people who are. There's all those people love to put videos of themselves crying and stuff like that. That's just ridiculous to me. It's like, do what you can, and then look to the future. It's there's the off-year elections. There's one coming up in 2026. There's lots of opportunity, and there's even less people voting in those, so you can influence things a lot better. If you're really upset today, take heart in that there's the ability to have an election 2 years from now.
Yes, and you lose 100% of the elections you don't vote in.
You lose 100% of the elections
that no one votes in.
You don't vote in. Yeah, I agree with that. But for a lot of people, I recognize today is a very somber morning. I really do.
Well, that's kind of why I'm focusing very much on the escapism, is just feeling like you get that hangover. And I need to think about something else for a little while. My brain needs a rest, which is why I'm happy to think about stupid Christmas movies and adorable baby killer pygmy hippos. And I'm probably going to go play some Dragon Age. And later on, I'm going to listen to Brandon Sanderson.
I'll play some Factorio and just not think about things for a while. That's my favorite form of escapism is anything that's just maintenance, like to-do lists. Like I'm already in my head, I'm making I got to fix the doorbell today.
Gonna go organize the spice racks.
We have wood burning stoves here in Scotland, and I cracked the glass when I was putting it in. I had to replace a pane of glass, and I just made a stupid mistake and over tightened the brackets. And I was working. It was one of these things where
Can happen to anyone.
I was after I did it. I was putting away the tools, and I heard this noise, and I go, "What was that?" And I looked, and sure, it was a huge crack through the glass because I'd over tightened the
So
brackets.
it wasn't an immediate crack.
No.
It just the pressure or whatever it was built, and then it cracked.
I had a chance to save it. I had a chance, and I didn't save it. It was, and so I just reordered the glass. It was, of course, a stupid mistake, but I'd never done that kind of project before. And sometimes you pay a little bit for your education. This is a case where I paid a little bit.
Well, Bernie, the next time you need to save something, can I recommend taking off all your clothes?
Go ahead.
And putting on a Christmas hat and doing a little stripper dance, because apparently that's how you save things.
Speaking of distractions.
You take off all your clothes and dance around for Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm so excited about this movie. And by the way, I feel like I should actually say what it's called. It is called The Merry Gentleman, I believe.
I will go watch that with you.
Yes.
I'll be your distraction today. I'll be your merry gentleman today.
But it's Bernie, it's to save a struggling performing arts center. Take off all your clothes. So ridiculous. But I am excited. I've recently switched gears with my overall escapism, and I'm back into reading. Well, in this case, at the moment, listening to Stormlight Archive You've tried to get into this before, I believe. This is the epic fantasy series by Brandon Sanderson, and it's like his magnum opus. Like it's his Wheel of Time, it's his Game of Thrones, right? This is his big. He writes a lot. He's incredibly prolific, but this is his like big magnum opus. And the 5th book is coming out, I think the 5th, is coming out in December. And these things are such door stoppers that I had to start in October to get through all of them in time for the new one to come out. And I have to because, once again, door stoppers, a lot happens in these books, and I can remember sort of like the vague details, but the specifics are all gone. So I've got to do this refresher. Each of these books is like 40 or 50 hours to listen to. It's a lot. I
have determined that Stormlight Archive is going to be the next book series that I read, which is a weird thing to say.
You mean like physically read?
I'm going to read it. Yeah, but I haven't found time to read, like sit down and read for a long time.
Yeah, it has been a while. Yeah. It has been a while, but you can get one of those new color Kindles.
I think once I just got to audiobooks, I kind of just moved away from reading in general. I can't remember the last thing I sat down and read.
It depends very much, though, because the audiobook experience for a lot of things is very different from the reading experience for a lot of things. I know you started listening to Stormlight Archive, but had a bit of trouble with the narrators not matching your listening vibe. Like you get very into the some of the sci-fi heavy hitters, like the guy who narrates your version of The Martian. You like the Project Hail Mary guy. You like the Bobiverse guy. And that's a very different listening tone than Stormlight Archive, which is Michael Kramer and Kate Redding, who they're heavyweights in the fantasy audiobook world. They did the Wheel of Time audiobooks and everything, but they're a very different vibe. I switched over reading these from reading Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is narrated by Jeff Hayes, who was an amazing narrator for those books. But it was like tonal whiplash. It took me some real getting used to swap tones over to this fantasy epic.
I think I was sitting here thinking about, I don't even know where my Kindle is because I haven't used my Kindle in a long time. If I can offer some practical advice, this is my version of distraction. One of the things that Trump has said during his campaign is that he is going to raise tariffs on foreign goods. So if you do want to buy any tech products, I would do it sooner rather than later. Yeah, like I would make this a tech heavy Christmas if I were you. I would look at like the next 4 years and think like, what technology do I think I want to upgrade for the next 4 years? Because all that stuff could get pretty expensive pretty quickly.
Right, because the way that will work effectively is that it costs more for companies to import goods of these tariffed types from specific countries. And a lot of that is going to be like tariffs on things coming out of, let's say, China. And so that's which is where a lot of electronics are built. And so that will then mean that the companies are paying more to get those electronics into the U.S., which means that they will then pass those on down through the supply chain, and the prices of almost all that stuff will probably end up going up for consumers.
It's interesting here in Scotland because we're in whiskey country, and there's a lot of people here who like Trump and want to talk to us positively about Trump. I know the story is everyone outside of America hates Trump. It's not the case. I will say that, though, people who have businesses that ship to America, they didn't like when Trump was president because, like, Scotch whiskey, for instance, was more expensive because it was one of the things hit with tariffs during the last Trump administration. So just something to consider for your daily life, a strategy that you can have that is nice and distracting. You know?
It's a way for you to take control of your consumer spending in the future.
Basically, bottom line is, if anything that you want to buy is made outside of the U.S. or has parts that originate from outside the U.S., those things are going to get more expensive. So as long as your thing is wholly made in the U.S., then it'll probably be okay. It'll just be regular old inflation.
So really what's happening here is when your family's like, why are you spending so much money on stuff for this Christmas? You can be like, well, Burnie and Ashley gave me permission.
Not financial advice.
They said that I could do that.
But if you want to buy something uniquely American, like people who don't fucking vote, then...
Those are free. You can get those anywhere.
Then just wait on that, Good Lord. All right, Ashley, we're at 19 minutes, and I'm going to go stare at a wall. What are you going to go do? I'm
going to go play Dragon Age. I'm really enjoying it so far. By the way, I got to my Normandy where you can start to pick where you want to go, when, and what order you want to do things. It's not called the Normandy. It's called the Crossroads.
I've been tracking good friend of the podcast, Gavin Free. I've been tracking him. He's been playing Factorio. I hope I'm not doxing him in any way, but he's been playing Factorio and he's way ahead of me.
Do you guys like share sweet little like screenshots of your setups? Be like, what do you think of my coal mining setup? Well, what do you mine? Like, what's the thing that you're setting up right now?
Right now, I'm redoing my iron mines.
Okay, iron mines. I'm sorry, coal.
No, coal's in there.
Okay. Do you send him like pictures of your iron mines and be like, what do you think?
No,
that's tidy.
That's too much involvement for men. We're still men, actually. I see his achievement pops and I go, how are you cheating? You fucking So I wrote to him and I said, did you like go from your old factory? Because my most recent factory was back from 2021. Wonder why. And I was asking him, did you start over or did you go from your old factory? He goes, no, I started over. I'm like, you started over too? Because I thought, oh, that's why I'm behind in achievements, is because I started my whole factory over. And he's like, no, yeah, I couldn't figure out my old factory. So I just started a new one, and he's like blazing through. He's on different planets at this point in time. And I'm like, how do I solve my fucking uranium problem?
Well, Steam actually they just released, I guess they've been beta testing it for a while, but they just released their video recording tool. So you can now sort of natively record game video via Steam. So if you want, you can do a little video tour for him and send it over to him and tell him how he can make his iron mines so much better if he makes them look exactly like yours.
All right, we will.
Or just send it to Gus.
Who are we sending to the iron mines today, Ashley?
I would like to thank Iron Miners Matt Weber and D. Sebi Seb for sponsoring this episode of our show at patreon.com/morningsomewhere. Thank you both so much.
All right, well, that does it for us today. November 6, 2024. We will be back to talk to you tomorrow, we promise. And we hope you'll be here as well.
Bye, everybody.